Welcome to today's podcast. This podcast is called What is Learning Design? It is a space where curiosity leads, design guides, and learning unfolds. I'm Angela.
And I'm Pauline.
So Pauline, let's talk about how we know each other.
During COVID, I was working in Taiwan at this cycling studio as a studio manager. And one of my duty is to sell these cycling packages to the students. She was one of them. Walk in and be like, hey, this is my first time. I'm interested in buying 10 classes. And I kind of just talk her into how, do you want to subscribe to us? Within that conversation, I just found out that she also lived in the Bay Area. And it would just connect from there.
It's been 5-6 years.
Yeah.
Long time, but fun times. The goal of this podcast is to show people that learning design is often invisible to most people, and I want to help bring it to light. And this podcast will talk about how learning design can be seen in everyday life. So next, let's talk about our backgrounds. I can start first. I come from a background in education. I started off my career in the classroom teaching space where I was an English teacher. And then I pivoted to learning design. I studied learning design in grad school. And then in my most recent work, I was a learning designer at a language learning startup where I helped create the online curriculum from scratch. And I worked with engineers, the PM team, the CEO to create something that was similar to Duolingo. What about you? What's your background?
My background is marketing, mostly in the hospitality world, aka restaurant business.
Okay. And seeing that our backgrounds are so different, what is your role in our podcast? Can you explain a little bit about that?
Okay, well, I'm just maybe like all of you guys, I don't know what learning design is. So I may be throwing a lot of questions at you and be like, can you elaborate? Something like that, you know? So we're learning at the same time.
Absolutely. And I hope to use this podcast platform as a learning space for everyone. I want to normalize confusion and normalize curiosity, as this is a field we're all exploring together. And you don't need to be an expert to be a part of this conversation. So let's do our segment called Learning in the Wild, where we showcase learning design in real life. And in every episode, we'll have the speakers share a little bit about what we learned recently. Why don't you go first? What you learned recently?
What I learned recently? Well, because we've been exercising a lot. So what I learned
We exercise so much.
You know, we all know like what kind of body parts that we wanted to work on and improve on. But today when we went to the class together, I literally just found out, do you know you have a dimple next to your glute? I learned that today, and you can actually work on it. So that's one thing I learned today.
That's so interesting. But that is true. Can you share a little bit more about what that learning experience felt like? What went on in your head and how you felt afterwards?
Well, usually when we exercise, we have to tell our body parts that that is the spot that we're working on. So I was able to connect my body and my mind together and be like, oh, that's the body part that I never get to explore. So that's one thing.
You got to explore your butt dimple tip. Yeah. So was it easy for you to find strengths in that area?
Oh no, I struggled.
I'm not sure where that is, but I'm working on it. For me, I can share a little bit about my recent learnings. During the holiday season, when my mom and I were shopping for vacuums, we saw like 10 different models on Amazon, and we were a little bit overwhelmed and confused as to which one we should buy. But the common factor in each of the descriptions was the word PA, which I later learned that PA stands for pascals, which is the power of the suction that's in every machine. So ChatGPT told me that the higher the PA, the stronger the suction is. So that made our shopping journey much clearer, much easier, because we were focusing on the like the entryway of our house, which would get dusty really easily. So of course we got the one with the highest Pascal.
Question. So, is it that the highest Pascal is, the more expensive it goes?
Typically that is the pattern. So we bought the one with the highest Pascal. And from then on, our entryway has been very tidy and dustless.
Thanks to that high Pascal.
And for me, that learning journey was quite easy, I would say, because my mom and I rely on ChatGPT a lot, and it gave us a very short but succinct and concise description, especially in the context of vacuums. So that helped us make a smarter purchase. I would say that learning journey was quite smooth and quite quick, but it was definitely very memorable. Using your butt dimple experience and my vacuum learning experience, that brings us to the question of what is learning design. Before coming up this podcast, well, what do you think learning design meant?
Honestly, I don't know. Did not even know, like, on daily basis, even if we're, like, watching short videos or anything, like, we're learning. But I don't know if that considers learning design. Okay. So who, in what perspective, is doing the learning design part?
What constitutes as learning design? Like,
Yeah.
learning design is the intentional shaping of experiences that help people understand, do, or become something without feeling confused or discouraged. Learning design refers to deliberate choice about what, when, where, and how to teach something.
Okay.
Yeah?
Okay.
And in fact, I think learning design shows up invisibly in our everyday life, and I want to do my best to bring it to light. And so learning design, it can take many shapes and many forms, such as apps, such as Duolingo. That's a language learning app that I'm sure a lot of learning design goes into the creation. Also, Figma. I was using that recently, and there were a lot of small, quick tutorials before I really got into my project. And I would say that is also a form of learning design, in that it teaches you step by step how to do it. Good learning design makes learning feel smooth and intuitive, so it fades into the background. So if learning feels hard, it's not always you, it may be the design. Yesterday we were talking about how we were not so great at history. So maybe it's the way that history was presented to us when we were in middle or high school. Maybe it's the fact that we were forced to read textbooks and it didn't encourage us to interact with the text or foster critical thinking. And let's talk about why learning design matters so much right now, especially in the AI context. And can you share a little bit more about how you learned or how you got started with ChatGPT when it came out a year or two ago?
Honestly, I didn't really trust ChatGPT much before. When my husband told me about it, he was like, hey, this would be a great tool for your marketing, whatever you're promoting. And I was like, I really don't know, like, I should invest in it because first, cybersecurity was one thing, and because I wasn't comfortable to step out of my comfort zone. So it kind of took me almost 1 year to start using ChatGPT. Because whenever I ask her a question, she's like, hold on, let me ask my best friend, ChatGPT, everything. So that just got into me and be like, oh, okay, this is a really great tool. And how we learn quick, we find our answers quick, and it's just very smooth journey.
I agree, and I had a very similar experience as you. I think ChatGPT first came out during my second year of teaching about 3 years ago. And when it first came out, all of the teachers panicked. They were like, oh no, what do we do? Like, how do we teach now? Are students going to cheat? Are students going to copy their essay off of ChatGPT and submit it? So we had a lot of worries and frustrations going on in our heads. But it took a lot of time to establish guardrails and limitations and rules for the use of ChatGPT in our school context. So it was a lot of unprecedented times back then. But now, after this big learning curve, I am now very comfortable using AI and using ChatGPT.
Indeed. Very, very comfortable. What would your life be without ChatGPT now? Or any AI?
We do, like all of us, we do go on ChatGPT to look for answers, but that also really trains us to think critically because oftentimes ChatGPT gives us incorrect or emotional answers, and we have to filter that ourselves. AI tools popping up every day. Just to name a few, we have Notion, Grammarly, we have the Tesla full self-driving, that's also AI. We have our Oura rings, that's also AI.
So you mentioned about Oura ring, right? Can we talk a little bit about that? Because I feel like I'm learning a lot. Like, for myself, my body parts, pretty much, like, everything in general. So, do you want to start?
Yeah. In July, on July 4th, I think it was July 4th, there was a big sale on the Oura website. And so I got mine. And you weren't here, so I just got mine in silence. And then you came back. And she's like, what is that?
How cool is that? Big and bulky, huh?
So I showed her the app. And then what happened?
Oh, got me into it too. I mean, it's great. I never seen her wear any jewelry. But yeah, it's so great to the point because I wanted to learn about my stress levels, my sleeping pattern, because I always feel like I don't sleep. Like, I sleep a lot, but it wasn't great. And then it will analyze for you how your sleeping pattern is.
And can you tell me about how you learned to navigate the app and how you learned to navigate this new thing on your finger? Did it take a lot of time?
Oh, yeah. Everything is just very easy. You don't even have to look at the manual.
Yeah. Like I mentioned before, good learning design is often invisible, right? But not only that, I also want to point out from your Aura example or other examples that I've mentioned. With the rise of AI tools now, learning how to use these AI tools is often unsupported these days. We have to figure out ourselves how to navigate ChatGPT or Aura. And it's often self-directed and constant.
Yeah, and it's almost feel like we are autopilot in this AI world. Like, everything is just, you gotta know this right away, or else you don't fit in, you know.
So I think the learning design of things determine whether this AI tool makes us feel empowered or intimidated. If I can't think of a poor learning design example right now, like history. Okay, history. That's not AI related, but that explains why I was intimidated by history. Maybe it was the learning design. And going back to your Aura example, learning design also builds our curiosity towards our own bodies, right? Now you know how to take care of your sleep, your stress levels, right? If it was so poorly designed, maybe it could be anxiety inducing, and that's not what we want. So Pauline, can you share a little bit about what you hope to take away from this podcast?
Well, I just wanted to see maybe like in different professional areas, like we get to learn from their perspectives in a way, what their expertise are and how they design all these learning designs, I guess. It could be from professionals, it could be from just daily life, you know, who just became mom like me, or what we can learn from each other. But yeah.
Absolutely. I echo all of what you just said. Through this podcast, I hope to emphasize awareness and curiosity over expertise. So like I mentioned in the beginning, everyone should be a part of this conversation so that we can grow together and design better learning experiences for everyone in every field. And I hope that through this podcast, we will learn to ask better questions. Number 2 is we can be kinder to ourselves. Like when learning doesn't feel smooth, it's not that you're dumb. It's not that you are incapable, but sometimes it's because it's not well designed. So we don't need to be so harsh on ourselves. And number 3, I hope that we can feel more confident when navigating learning experiences. So let's close this up Like you mentioned in our future episodes, we have already planned a list of guest speakers.
Pretty.
We will have people from the parenting world, the tech world, the fitness world.
Okay.
Yeah. And any last thoughts?
No, just stay curious, I guess.
Yes. So that's it for our first episode. Stay curious and keep learning
In the
wild.